Welcome, Bronco Nation. Welcome to a special edition of Bronco Nation Live. This is our esports showcase. Gaming and esports is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and so we've got one of the best programs at Boise State. So we want to give them some shine. As always, I am joined by my co-host Sam Gillette of Sam Talk Sports, and he's the mastermind behind this show. So how the heck are you doing, Sam?
Oh, I'm doing great. Just living the dream, being able to talk about Bronco sports, the well-known and the not well-known. And it's a little-known fact that we have a powerhouse program at the university that there's not very many people that know. But you saw in the intro, 6 national champions, 15 Mountain West Conference champions. That's not an easy feat to grab, no matter what sport you're in. So, but yeah, so we worked this show around and got stuff going and gonna get some good information. But let's get a little bit of information for Bronco Nation lined up. Nick, you've got something coming up this week near and dear to your heart, and Blue Elevation. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Bronco Christmas on the Blue?
Yeah, this is a real special event that the Blue Elevation crew put on. This is the 3rd year in a row. We partner with some student athletes from Boise State and Boise State themselves, and it's all about blessing the children from the Boise Rescue Missions Ministries, the City Light program. A lot of these children and their moms, they found themselves in a real tight spot. So this gives us the opportunity to bless them. And this is the 2nd year that we've been able to adopt 17 kids. We've been raising about $1,800 just to make this one spectacular Christmas on the Blue. And that's going to happen sometime this week. And we're always appreciative of Maddox Madsen and a lot of his teammates and other Boise State student athletes that come alongside of us and, great relationships with these kids, and looking forward to it.
All right. Yep. And they can, where can they donate at?
Yeah, you can go to bronconationupdates.com. And there's a link right there set up and some information of what we're doing. It's right there, right at the top. So you can go to blueelevation.org too, but if you just go to bronconationupdates.com, it's right there. Really accessible, and we really appreciate it. Everyone who's helped out so far and those who are considering.
All right. So you noticed our background. We're in the esports studio for the background. And it is an esports show. My son's going to be proud papa moment here. My son, Bry, he's joining us today from deep in the heart of, well, he was in a brand new house, but he's changed since then. So he paints backdrops on us. What's up, Bry?
Hello, how's it going?
I like your tag, Bry Talks Esports. That's good times. And we wouldn't have an esports program without the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Doc Haskell himself. Doc,
Mostly
how are you?
myth, but that's okay.
Well, it wouldn't be a show without giving off the Doc Haskell aids. 6-time national champion head coach, 15-time Mountain West Conference champion head coach. No easy feat. Well, there's a lot of stuff there. You have your 2000 Bachelor of Music at Boise State, 2007 Masters in Education Technology at Boise State, PhD in Curriculum and Instruction at Boise State, 2025 Mountain West Conference NPEC Overwatch 2 Coach of the Year, the CECC Best Collegiate Esports Director. I mean, you don't get all these accolades without being pretty good at your job, right?
Or just being old. Stick around long enough, they got to give them to somebody.
Esports Awards Collegiate Ambassador of the Year, National Association of Esports Coaches and Directors, College Esports Coach of the Year, and of course the National Association of Collegiate Esports Collegiate Directors of the Year. You have built a powerhouse program from the ground up at Boise State, Doc. What got you into it to where you wanted to make it to where you get these accolades?
Well, never for the accolades, but Boise State is special in our willingness to pursue things that other people haven't done, maybe at the level that we've done. There's kind of a plucky, chip on your shoulder, blue collar approach to stuff like this, where other institutions ask, well, who's done it? And here we say, well, we're about to do it. So the place makes as much of an impact on our ability to do it as the desire to do it.
Awesome. Well, without any further ado, let's give the show over to Bri. And Bri, go ahead and
What up,
take her
Bri?
away.
Hello. So I want to start off by giving you a few questions about yourself.
Okay.
I want to start off by going with, who is Doc Haskell?
Boy, that's a tough one. 54-year-old, father of 4, grandfather of 5, married 33 years to the same sweetheart we met cheering at Boise State in the 90s. True story. We were both on the Spirit Squad in the 90s, and I think dated for about a week, and then we got married and haven't looked back since. I've been at Boise State. This is my 19th year as a faculty member and now coach, and there isn't much in my closet that isn't blue and orange.
Heck yeah. So how did you start with becoming a esports coach?
I coached a lot of stuff. Coached football, coached band for a long time. I think this is pretty similar to that. And as a faculty member in the College of Education, I was researching games and education. I taught a lot of master's courses on games and learning. Think Ready Player One before Ready Player One, doing a lot of that type of curriculum, and gaming clubs, teams, and interscholastic, intercollegiate teams just kind of floated into that zone, and I started researching it and saw that it was going to be pretty huge. We then carried it forward to different people in the university, said, we ought to do this. And it was Bob Custer who said that we could be the Alabama of esports. And that was such a viral idea that it exploded from then.
Nice. That's great to
Yeah.
hear. What links would you like to go for recruiting your players for each teams?
Oh my gosh, just boisestate.edu/esports. Yeah.
That's all?
Yeah,
Just go right there?
that's where to begin. You can get connected with Discord and share information at that point. The great thing about the recruiting process is the games do a lot to tell us who you are and what you play and what experience you've had. You don't have to be the radiant top of the the leaderboards to be recruited to Boise State. But it does give us a sense of what your relationship with the game has been in a way that it's harder to do with, say, basketball or football, right?
Mhm.
You have to drill down. Those stats are available, right, for these games where somebody has to compile them and sell them sometimes for football and basketball, right?
Yeah.
In that recruiting zone.
You don't sell your players, huh?
No.
If you could add any game to your esports, which one would you do?
You know what? I don't know that I would choose one that we don't have. The player base often will just kind of tell us what we should play, and we have a couple of single player games, CFB, 2K, the fighting game Street Fighter, and some of the other ones. Those are great single player games, but I always like the popular. Let me not dodge your question. I think we'd like to bring back League of Legends. We have one of the best League of Legends coaches, and we we have league as a club team again right now. It used to be one of our varsity titles. We'd like to bring it back as a varsity title. I think it's probably time to do that again.
hmm I've been playing League for quite a while now, and I've
Okay,
been actually
what's your role? Are you a
my
laner?
role. I'll play jungle, mid,
Okay.
or support.
Okay, and who are your junglers right now? Who are you playing a lot of in jungle rotation?
In jungle, I'm mostly finding myself playing Briar.
Okay.
I find it
Briar,
easier
I
to
don't know
clear
that
up.
one as well. I mean, that's one of the newer ones for those of you keeping score at home. Jungle is interesting. We actually played. We had our holiday party. Brought everybody in, and all the coaches had to jump in, and staff had to jump in and play. And I played jungle in a couple of games with our squads, and I'm pretty sure I played Pantheon both times jungle.
Okay. I tried to play Pantheon one time, couldn't exactly figure it out. Used his ult one time, did it wrong,
Yep.
and he got mad.
Yeah, Pantheon's ult, for those of you paying attention at home, basically is this thunderous teleport across the screen that just crashes into everybody. And it's really handy, but it takes a lot of coordination. We coordinated it really well. For those of you who know Riley, who's our business development coordinator here, he was on the other team, and I used my ult into him every opportunity I got. So we were hunting him the whole time.
That's funny.
Yeah,
I bet he loved you for that one.
no, he did not.
He's like, you know what? We're scheduling you midnight interviews from here on out.
I love it. I love it. We had a blast because I mean we don't get to play that often with the players, and so an opportunity to play with our staff, just like Coach Danielson, getting in and lifting with the freshmen or something like that. It really means a lot to them to see us in there mixing it up, and I don't know that they discover, but they're definitely reminded how competitive we all are. From Coach K to the rest of our staff and myself, we're hyper competitive. So it's a lot of fun to get in there and mix it up with them.
On that jungler thing, though, I do like to say that I find Briar to be easiest to clear the jungles.
Yep. So for those of you who don't know, jungle is like shopping for groceries. You've got all these little camps you got to clear. You got to fight these little monsters. You got to do it in the right order. That makes a big difference. And you got to make sure you got vision in this space and that no one's sneaking through your jungle so that your laners can get the support that they need. But it's a whole lot of shopping for groceries and then ganging up on somebody. It's a lot of fun. It's a great role.
So you've asked me, now let me ask you, whenever you're not playing jungle, what is your lane?
It's jungle. It really is jungle. That's the one that I can pick up the fastest when I go long periods of time without playing.
Okay.
Yep. Jungle is easier for me to just jump in with players and not worry about how to lane, say, against, since most of it, for the people who don't know League of Legends as well, for most of the time, there are some slight changes in camps, but for the most part, jungling hasn't changed much in 10 years. People would argue that, with runes and that it has, but you're basically going to this place, squishing a bunch of these bugs and or wolves and or birds, raptors, right? And you're doing these things in order. It hasn't changed that much in 10 years. But laning against, pick any new champion. If you haven't played against that champion, you don't know what they do. All of a sudden, you're dead. You have no idea what happened.
Yep.
So if I'm understanding this right, they basically follow what the fad is for what games you pick up, because you don't want to be competitive in one game that's no one's going to watch, right?
Well,
kind of what I'm getting at?
And there has to be a strong competitive scene. So we have won conference championships. It wasn't Mountain West, it was ECAC, but we won conference championships in Halo. Halo Infinite is a great game, but there is not a big community playing it, right? The Mountain West is not playing it. We stick to the games that the Mountain West plays, which is League of Legends, Valorant, Overwatch, Rocket League, Smash, and CFB 26, whatever the year is. Last year it was 25. This year, college football 26, right? Those are the games that we primarily stick to because the Mountain West plays them, and you come to Boise State to compete for championships.
Cool. Is there a process that goes on for changing a game out or adding a game to the roster?
So often what we'll do is we'll identify that there's an interest from a club group, and we'll support that club group. We'll say, well, all right, we'll pay your dues to get into these different tournaments, but you've got to pick a time, you've got to pick a captain, you've got to meet these standards, but you'll be self-organized, but we'll support you. You can have these PCs in the arena on, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday nights for your, practices and your things, and we'll support it. If we can support it for multiple semesters and there's a lot of folks who are going to play it, then we'll look to start scholarshiping that, even if it's at a low level. So Smash went from a supported title to now an official title for us this year. We've dabbled in it in previous years, and last year that group went from just being a club that didn't win a single Mountain West game match to actually being in the Mountain West title game this year in that game. Now, we didn't win it. San Jose did, and they're a phenomenal team. They could easily, I'm not even joking, they could easily win the national championship. SGSU could in Smash. They're that good.
Yeah, I watched that game, and it was or match, I guess. And it was
good
Lord.
I love our people, and I am super competitive. But in this format, crew battle, right? You start with the first two people, and once they lose their 3 lives, they're out, and somebody else subs in. Well, if you don't lose your 3 lives, one person can basically run a perfect game and strike out every opponent, so to speak, right? And one of their players almost did. Actually, 2 of their players, because you play best of 3. And the first one guy almost ran the table against us. And then the second one, the other guy, Arthur, almost did the same thing. And I found myself, because I was there in San Jose when this was happening, I found myself kind of rooting for the no-hitter, so to speak, because it was so impressive and they were so good. It was like, this is so rare. I don't want it to happen to us, but if it's going to happen, no one looks back and goes, oh, we made mistakes, or you can all be impressed with the unique prowess of that player, right?
Yes. Yeah.
It's something everybody can celebrate, even if you're on the losing side of it. So I was kind of hoping if he was going to win it. Now, we did end up taking some stocks off him and mixing in. They did win it, but I was so proud of our folks. We beat Hawaii, who we'd never beaten before, in the semifinals, and made it to the championship game for Smash.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, Hawaii was the very first Smash game I watched, mainly because it's on at the same time as some of our other shows, so I'm not able to. But I was sitting there going, which one is which? They're just moving all over the screen.
Yeah. Part of it is and in that game, especially Smash, the background is moving also, and you have to just kind of like decouple it in your mind to be able to follow what's happening in the center of the screen. We're going to actually see Hawaii and a few other schools in Hawaii for the Hawaii Invitational in mid-February. So that'll be fun. And Syracuse will be there, Michigan State will be there, Grand Canyon will be there. I'm forgetting some of the other schools that are going to be there. Great schools.
I want to take you back to when you're funding these club teams in a certain game and proving that that conceptually that, hey, this is going to be a great game, and then divvying out the scholarships. What's that time frame look like? Like, how long does it take from the idea to start and into like a full scholarship?
Well, it depends on what happens there. So we have the same amount of scholarship money each year that we budget ourselves. We're trying to get that to grow every year, and we do that through different means. Usually big corporate sponsorships and partnerships and donations help to fund that. But right now, last 2 years, it's been about 175,000 a year total for all of our scholarships. And so right now there are 8 players on our Overwatch team, 5 of which play, right, at any one time, and then 3 are on the bench. Our Rocket League team has 4 scholarship players, 3 of those play, right? We've got 6 on our Valorant team, 5 at a time play. And so and those are different amounts based on where those students come from, what additional support they need to be able to be Boise State students. Well, we do recruit largely Colorado West, 3.8 or higher GPA usually. We have students from everywhere, from Pennsylvania, from Arkansas, from Florida, from Virginia, from Maryland, from Minnesota, from Cali, which is, Colorado West. And so in order to stand up a brand new team, we kind of need to identify a brand new source for that, or sunset a title that is just not getting as much play. So we did that originally with League of Legends, turned that into a Halo team for a little while, and then turned that Halo team into a Valorant team. Now we want to bring back League of Legends. We need to stand up additional scholarship funds to be able to do that. And as they say it best, on the other side of campus, we don't need what everybody else has, but we need more than we have. And so that's always what Riley is working on, trying to develop more scholarship opportunities or revenue opportunities for the program so we can stand up more scholarships. Yeah, that's always the effort. And in addition to our scholarship pool, which is finite, 175,000 this year. We have about 35 student employees, which comes from a different part of what we're doing, and they're able to be part of the support structure that we have in place for our students.
So if say we had somebody out there who's watching right now and had some deep pockets and they wanted to help out the esports team, how could they help Riley in financing, like an in-kind gift or something like that?
Well, I mean, there are a number of ways to do it. I mean, NIL is a definite way to do it. There's a way to for a big local business to immediately get the value of an Emiliano Flores Durtho, who's a world famous Rocket League player, is a Boise State student, or a Jonathan Foraker who played in the last 2 Overwatch World Championships with different teams. And there's that way to do it. Certainly by supporting scholarships directly, either by a gift or by renting out our space even to help do that. There's a real opportunity. I mean, we're easily a top 5 program, but we don't even break the top 10 in amount given to students. And that's a very Boise State theme, right? We punch way above our weight. And I think that we can close that gap in the next year and a half, 2 years, to make sure that we're a lot closer to what I think is reasonable, which is probably about $500,000 a year in total student support. So we can pick up things that we don't currently offer, like we don't have a housing stipend for our students, that they come in and we support their bottom line education, but that may not be a meal plan for some students, or other things. So it's going to get more competitive in the next little bit, as we have over 800 colleges and universities now with a officially recognized program. Over 200 that offer scholarships have full-time staff and a dedicated space, and another, I think, 400 that have one of those things, full-time staff or dedicated space or scholarships, right? But don't have all three.
And are we going to see?
Did that answer your question?
Yeah, yeah.
Or did I dodge it? Did I correctly? Did I artfully dodge it?
No, you got you gave me a variety of ways, and I love that. Do you think, just like what football is kind of dealing with right now, with the money piece, the financing piece, do you think our esports program is going to face the so-called power conferences with the money that they have to invest in their programs? Do you think that that's going to kind of be the same thing that's going on with the football, for sure? I mean, they're able to find these major donors, and then I believe it's A&M pumped in like $7 million just on their defensive line. So do you think that we're, as a mid-major Boise State is, do you think we could potentially get some more competition because of the finances?
Well, one of the reasons that those big schools have had the success that they have is history and tradition, right? They have been, I mean, A&M football, while you can argue they have not had as many strong competitive years as some of the other SEC schools, and granted they weren't SEC for a long time, they were Big 12, that it is still ingrained in what they do. They have generational, in many cases, multi-generational support, fandom, and infrastructure. I think that there's more of a splash right now with the value of that, but people are going to sour. I mean, we would struggle. Let's bring the dollar value down. We would struggle if we were having to pay out money every year for players who did not stay, right? Oh, we got this great defensive line, but 3 of the, or 2 of the 5 that we brought in for a defensive line jumped right back on the portal again, right? Mm-hmm. That's going to sour pretty quick. If the support doesn't create some loyalty, there's not going to be as many opportunities. I think students should get value for the special talents that they have, and it is definitely a big plus for their universities. But Coach Danielson said it yesterday in an interview. They're looking for people who want to be here and want to finish here. We do the same thing. Now we can support those students, but I think a lot of these schools, highest bidder, just making it to the playoff, but not advancing past a round is going to get pretty old, and people aren't going to want to spend a lot of money. I think it's going to reform a lot sooner than it's going to just bust everybody. That's but as it relates to esports, we're still in the process of providing them fundamentally just more educational support, like room, board, tuition, right? Meal plans. That's where we're focused. Although we have had some students with NIL opportunities, it never amounts to as much as a quarterback would, right? A quarterback, right, or D lineman or wide receiver, one of these really well-known positions that often garner that celebrity. There are not a lot of NIL opportunities for the holder.
And speaking of loyalty, didn't we just celebrate a back-to-back national champion in CFB during the
back-to-back Mountain West champion? Yeah. Okay. Yep. Matthew Wallace crushed it. Absolutely crushed it. He's a superstar. Proud of that dude.
Mr. Duck, I do have 2 more questions about you, and then I want to move on to the basically how the season went.
Okay.
So first question for you again where would you like to go with your teams? Like,
Ooh,
what is the ultimate end goal for everything together?
we want to continue to be able to play for conference championships, right? That's what's going to make the biggest difference to our students, and to compete for national championships against like and similar schools. So let's pick a Jamestown University in Montana, right? Probably not the type of team we want to play against. They have esports, it's awesome, but we want to play against the Michigan States, Ohio States, Kansas, Syracuse, right? Utah. We want to play against the other football blue bloods. I want to see us continuing to go in that direction. Football is our currency here on our campus, and so those opponents who also have football as their currency mean the most to, I think, our folks. Jamestown, great. The Jimmies are awesome, but not necessarily in our neighborhood in a way that makes sense to our fans. And we have to use the existing fandom to make a sense of why we're competing. It's why we choose to play everybody on our football schedule.
Of course. So this last one, what is your personal favorite game?
It switches a little bit. I'm probably the best at Fortnite, which is not a title that we compete in. And I'll drop with any of y'all, and I'm sweaty as heck. No build though, no build. My 90s are not slick. But I probably have played historically the most Overwatch. I have competed against other directors the most in one-on-one Rocket League, because that's just something that pops up at events. 1v1 Rocket League with the directors, which is a lot of fun. But I have to play all the games that we play. I need to be proficient in those games and how they've changed and what has modified, so that I can make sure that we're preparing in the right way. If I were teaching band, I would need to understand the fingerings and the ranges of all the instruments that we play. I would not have to be a virtuoso on those, but I would have to be able to make a recognizable sound on those instruments. Same with these games. I have to be able to play them at a level that it is clear I understand how the game is played. I don't have to be the expert in it. That's not my role. I have to be the expert in players and preparing players, and you need to know the game to be able to do that, I believe.
Of course. It's like how I need to know instruments to be able to work at an instrument store.
Exactly. You don't have to be a virtuoso. You just got to be able to, you have to understand how they work.
So I want to look at the standings here for the end of the PEC. We've got, for Rocket League, Boise State sitting at 7-1 win-loss ratio.
Yep.
For Overwatch 2, they're on a
Go ahead.
5-2.
Yep.
For Valorant, you guys are 7-1 again. And for Smash, you're on 2-5. Do you have...
And here's what I was going to say about Smash. Very, very pleased with our progress in that. We definitely know coming in that that is a developing title for us. But those two wins were 2 out of the last 3 weeks. Also, this method, normally in Smash, you play what's called a cruise battle. These are basically individual matchups, more like tennis duels scoring, right? So it's this player versus this player. The total match is worth 4 points, but you could get 2 points and the opponent could get 4 points, right? So you kind of get, and the gap between winning and losing has just shrunk so much for us. A couple of those were we lost 9-14-9, or we lost 13-10, or I mean they're really, really close. That group is poised to actually make a real hit next semester in the spring. So
how would you go to recruit for improving the product?
That's a good question. So we have a number of recruits that are already kind of in the pipeline. We're working for next year. But largely they are, we're looking for players who have success against multiple characters and have a main and a secondary and sometimes a tertiary character that they are developing at all times. Not just characters that they're very similar to each other, but ones that actually play very differently. So ones that might play similar to one another, Donkey Kong, King DDD, and I can't think of a third one that's in that space right now. But Bowser might be. These big blocky, take up a lot of space, throw a lot of stuff down that you got to avoid, and their hits are real big. But somebody who plays multiple characters to bring it out like it would in football, they may have a lot of experience as a wide receiver, but gosh, we could probably use them on punt coverage, and they might even be able to return some kicks too. That being able to do multiple things is a really valuable thing. Doing just one thing, even if you do it really well, people can game plan around that. They can. We did that this year. There's a player named Syrup who's on Syracuse, professional Smash player, lost a surprising number of matchups because every team could just game plan for the one character he plays, and take away some of those opportunities to be successful. Where that player might be able to win an entire tournament by only having to face a couple of these really tough characters, we can just assign the toughest character that we know that he has to play against him in the one matchup that he's got with us. So that's the difference. Did that answer your question? Sorry, Bri.
Yes, sir. So I would like to ask you, how does the ranking system work for you guys in Smash?
That one's a little bit different. So a lot of games have like a ladder, right? Or a competitive comp structure that you play against people with similar. You win, you go up. Sometimes it's called MMR. Other times it's called SR, skill rank, or matchmaking rank, or and you win against similar, you go up, you lose against similar, you go down. And sometimes those numbers are veiled, but sometimes they're very public. Smash famously doesn't have that. So there is another ad hoc community built group, which everybody goes in and they assign that number. So we try to play within that structure as much as possible. We try to get our potential recruits or people who want to come play with us to play in that structure so we can get a sense of where they are against common opponents. It's all online, which a lot of players would prefer to play in person. We need players that are fine playing online because the majority of our matchups till the very end are online. So you have to be able to have success in online situations too. So yeah, that's largely it. We jump them into this this group, which is kind of a community run ladder, MMR, and we compete within that and have an expectation that our players will play a certain number of games within that environment.
Do you see a difference in performance between online and live?
Yes, some of it's psychological, some of it is character selection. The characters who have a very, very low latency, that where people can genuinely see the difference of about 20 milliseconds, right? If a second is broken into 1,000 parts, right? 1,000 milliseconds is 1 second. We're talking about a third of a second. No, less than that. 3/10 of a second. They can recognize and react, block, see an opening and combo. Those types of characters do really well in only online situations. it's the characters in the middle that need a little bit more setup time, that need a little bit more reaction time, that you have to know what the other character is doing. You have to, I mean, truly, we'll watch film, we'll slow it way down, we'll look at the animations, and if you're going to go up against this character, Petaluna or one of these in a match, you need to start to recognize the animations that are coming so that you can see those in advance. Some of the old computer games, y'all remember this, like we're playing baseball or something like that, and you're hitting your mouse button, or no, you're hitting your space bar to swing, right? You start to recognize little changes in the animation to like, oh, he only had like 2 pixels on the top of his hand as the ball came over. That's definitely a sinker, right? And then you make the adjustment just because you've started to learn those things. That's a lot of the types of things we have to prepare and learn for online play that some of these head-to-head folks don't have to do nearly as much.
So is there a time where you look at film and you do everything, and then you get in the game and they're not doing what they trained to do? The player, the athletes, they're not doing what they're trained to do. Do you pull them off to the side and come down on them like a football coach would on the field, or is it more of a go get them next time slugger?
So that is 99% of the job, is preparing students to have success. And if they are not having success, if they're making mistakes, and that range can be they don't understand what to do, they don't recognize what they're trying to do in that situation, they don't believe what we're trying to do and want to do something else. We got to unpack that and find out what they saw, because they're often right. I mean, we don't choose people that just want to create chaos. We choose people that want to win. And sometimes what they see, we need to learn, right? So we can understand it and help them frame, is that really what, and it, especially in the team games, what's the communication? So it's our job to prepare them to know what they need to do, and to be the first person who's trying to learn what's different when we don't have the success that we have, right? And to frame the situation where they can learn. There isn't anybody on our team that isn't smart enough to beat every opponent that we have. Can we create the conditions by which they can do that? If we lose a match, that's on me, right? We didn't do what we needed to do to be in the right position, to know what we needed to know, to execute the plan in place if we had the right plan in place. And everybody understands that there's more we can do. That's a beautiful place to be, because then you never get beat, right? You just are, behind when the time runs out.
Yeah.
Right. It gives us something more we can work on.
Which I'm fairly certain that's what happened Saturday with the football team.
Yep.
They just needed a couple more quarters.
Well, I'll tell you, I know there's been people that have been super critical and, have gone all doom and gloom. I listen to everything that Coach Danielson puts out, and my goodness, that last drive, I was more proud of that last drive to make it 10-38 than I was of anything else that happened in the game. Because, I mean, he says it all the time, there's no quit in that group, right?
Yeah.
And they, I mean, how many fourth downs did they convert on that? 2 or 3 on that last drive?
3.
Yeah, I mean, come on. You can't ask for more from that. Certainly there was stuff to learn in the first half and at the beginning of the second half, but that group they never quit. They never quit. They didn't have the success that they wanted, and you can always improve a team that won't quit.
Yeah.
It's impossible to improve one that will.
Speaking of improving teams,
yeah,
we're looking at the Valorant standings here, and we see that you guys are 7-1.
Yep.
Used to be going 7-0 until the Ohio game. Would you like to talk about that one?
You bet. So Ohio State is a really strong group. They were in the championship match last year and got defeated by Michigan State. Michigan State currently in the 3rd spot. we got what we wanted in that matchup against them, and we lost to them 2-1. So best of 3. We won the first one, they won the second one, they won the third one in that match, and they were really quite close. I think the third one, you got to get to 13. I think we lost that one 13-8, which is exactly, if we're going to lose it, that's where we want to lose it, because this regular season only matters for seeding. Now, we would love to be able to beat them and intend to, plan to. We're going to try to beat everybody on our schedule in the spring. It's round robin again, so we'll play all 9 schools again. Then that's used as the seeding into Las Vegas in April, right? Where all the schools will be there. And what we want more than anything is to be on the opposite side of the bracket, as Ohio State, so that the third time we play them is for all the marbles. And we really like that opportunity. We don't show everything we've got during the regular season. We have to find ways to prepare plays, and Valorant is a game of plays that they won't be well prepared for, and we'll try to plan for all the things they might throw at us in that game. But we're exactly where we want to be, heading into spring semester. Now, we can't drop any silly ones because we don't want to end up on the same side of the bracket as them, because they're very, very good. But thankfully, it's not a sprint. It's a marathon, and we do well in marathons. We get better and better as the year goes on based on the way that we play. Teams that have early success can stumble, and we've seen schools in the PEC stumble in the past because there's a lot of confidence and there's nobody maybe at the helm, either a student leader or a coach, saying it's not as easy as you think it is, right? You've had success, but we have to continue to improve, and we like our ability to continue to improve throughout the semester.
Of course.
Is that almost near perfect run? I mean, wasn't it just Nebraska and Ohio State? Were those the only two to put a match on you?
So, in these best of 3s, we lost a total of 4 total maps, right?
Okay.
We lost 2 to Ohio State. We lost 1 to Michigan. We lost 1, I think it was to Syracuse. Either Syracuse or Kansas. So, yeah.
So speaking of perfect ratios or near perfect ratios, what was the mood like after losing your perfect ratio to Ohio State?
In Valorant?
Yes, sir.
It was, we never like to lose, but losing is part of it. So we better figure out how to do it in a way that's constructive. I think everybody understood that it was an important match, and it was a good matchup. It was one of our highlighted home games, and it's always tough to lose when you've got a room full of people.
Mm-hmm.
But they know when the matches matter the most, and that we're going to be in a place where we tend to do better than most of our opponents. We play in a place that has people cheering and ringing cowbells for most of their matches, and that comfort in front of a crowd is something that a lot of our opponents don't share. So it'll be good when we have that opportunity. It gives us a little bit of a superpower. A lot of other schools, they don't play on a stage, they don't play to a crowd. They don't whiff they swing or a retake that then they feel self-conscious about because they didn't do it in front of a crowd. We have to learn how to do that better because we have a crowd. So it's a real special gift that we've been given, that we have fans that come and cheer and that want to see us do well, because you get over that what happens if you screw something up, because we've got plenty of opportunities to learn what happens when you screw something up.
Yeah, watching the Mountain West Conference Championships, I couldn't tell if I was at a Mississippi State football game or watching Esports.
Yep. Yeah, it was wild.
Let's see. Nick, do you have questions about that?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, are you guys always in the need for more cowbell?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So noisemakers are not permitted. You can't take noisemakers into the football games or into the soccer games, basketball or otherwise. We want you to bring them in here. We want it to be louder than is reasonable. It is so good for us. It gets your blood pumping, and it prepares us for the matches that matter at the end of the year. That's the key. We've got you compete for championships by getting to the matches that matter most. And what you do in those makes the difference. And we prep for that all year.
And the fun thing about esports is if a player doesn't like all that loud noisemakers, just get the noise canceling headphones.
Exactly.
All right, I'd like to switch over to Overwatch now and talk about the 5-2 that you have.
Yeah, it was 5-2. Yeah, 5-2. What's interesting about that is that we lost the opener to Syracuse. Syracuse has been very good. They made a big improvement in recruiting last year, and we don't use this as an excuse, but we were without our senior superstar standout, Jonathan Foraker. He was overseas at a OWCS qualifying event, which is the professional tournament, and we were without him for a couple of times. Coincidentally, they were the losses, but we have to perform well in those even when we don't have all of our normal starters. No one panicked at all. And we also dropped one to Kansas, which they were absolutely thrilled about, as they should be. They're a much improved team as well. A lot of people thought that it was going to be automatic for us to come in and just run the table and win the Mountain West, win the PEC for a second year in a row. I am grateful that there's great competition. It makes us better. Iron sharpens iron.
Of course.
Yeah.
You ever get confused or just mix up your scheduling whenever you're playing basically in two different conferences at the same time?
Yes, but not as often. Just because there are 9 PEC teams. There are technically 10 Mountain West teams. I can keep my eyes on those. What end up being 17 total, because we're one of the teams in each of those, right? Yeah. And they're spread up a little bit differently, where the Power Esports Conference plays the same both fall and spring, same opponents each time. If it grows, potentially that wouldn't be the case. But the Mountain West, we play some games in the fall and the other games in the spring. So we won't play any Rocket League or Smash or CFB in the spring. That's now Overwatch, Valorant, and League of Legends.
So League of Legends is coming onto the roster now.
Yes, it is. So it is a well-supported, well-coached club team, but they'll play in the Mountain West, and the PEC is doing a version of that in the spring as well. They won't compete for a championship as it's more of a exploratory title for the PEC this year, but likely it will stick and become part of the storyline.
I'm excited to see how your team plays it.
Well, we've got Coach K. We've got Kelsey Mosier, who if you have never looked up Kelsey Mosier, pro League of Legends coach for Evil Geniuses, for 100 Thieves for the last 10 years. Worked for Riot, ran. Coach K is amazing, and this is her second year with us. She's phenomenal, and she's got this group of essentially walk-ons taking big swings at teams that are much better. We're gonna find ourselves in the playoffs of the Mountain West for that, without any recruiting for that, just with our version of the Bad News Bears, just being coached by a pro. She's amazing.
Player development.
Yep.
Sounds like we need Coach K on the next one of these.
Yep, you do. Coach K is awesome.
The BSU League of Legends time.
Yeah.
So, Nick, do you have any questions about the Overwatch?
No, just like probably a lot of the viewers, I'm just gleaning every word that's coming out, and I'm excited. I'm gonna. You had me at cowbell because we still miss our cowbells at the at the Albertson Stadium, and so
no cowbells, no tortillas. That's a throwback.
no tortillas.
Lava tortillas.
See how far you could fling those, man. Oh, good times.
So
I will say for those watching and they're like, well, this sounds boring. This isn't your normal content. just watch. I mean, listen here so that you can get an idea of what's going on, and then go to the Twitch account. You click the link on the composite calendar on broncosports.com, takes you right to it, and just watch. Set up that notification so you can see or get notified whenever Boise State goes live. And I'm sitting there, and I didn't know the hill of beans about Valorant before all this started. I started watching. I got no idea what's going on, but the announcers are excited, so I'm excited. And Boise wins pops up on the screen. I'm like, oh heck yeah, awesome! And before you know it, you're sitting there on the edge of your seat, going, oh, get him! Because you don't have to know what's going on to know that guy needs to shoot that guy in order to win.
Yep. It doesn't take long to figure it out. I mean, the fundamental difference of these games is that we can manipulate the cameras in the game so that we can tell the story we want to tell with it. And that is very rare, right? If you want to follow volleyball, you need 5 cameras in a gym, and and this whole group of people. You don't need that with esports. You can look like you've got 30 cameras in the game. It's pretty cool, and our staff and students do an amazing job telling the story.
So, with moving on to the last game here, going over to Rocket League, as you can see behind Nick there. You guys are sitting at 7-1. Your only loss being Baylor. How did that feel?
That kind of sucked. Our players were not ready for it. We knew that they were good. Baylor is brand new on the scene. They recruited 2 professionals, really 3 that are pro level. And now our players also play pro, but there's a huge section of the community that also plays pro. But these were from the other side, who primarily played pro and then came to play collegiate. And so we know that they're good. They're just talented, and they ran a perfect season. But they didn't beat us by much. And we think that stage in Vegas is a very different scenario, and I like our guys for that. We played for multiple national championships on a big stage, and we tend to do really well in those situations. Plus the trio that we have who will be playing in this in this season are 3 of the best players in collegiate, and people would be silly to just assume that what happened before would just automatically happen again.
So with all the seasons tied together, what was your favorite moments?
of this year so far?
Yes, sir.
Whew. I would have to say, well, I'm going to give you three, and I'll give them in this order. Absolutely loved the Mountain West title for our Rocket League team because it constituted the 5th ring for Gabriel Reynolds, who you're like, how's he's graduating, he's walking on Saturday. And so he went 4 years in 1 semester. That's well within the eligibility guidelines, right? We see 5th-year seniors and 6th-year redshirt seniors all the time. He got to play a 5th Mountain West championship game. He won all 5. So proud of that guy. Second is probably Matthew's second Mountain West title in CFB. Super proud of that guy as well. He's had some competition this year, mostly internal for those opportunities, but when the stage is biggest, he steps up. But normally you want to claim a title as your favorite moment, but when our Smash Kids beat Hawaii and advanced to the championship game, I don't think anything has made me more proud than that, right? Because nobody would have given us a chance, to be in that position. They didn't care what chance anybody would give us. They just looked at the opponent and just went after him. So really, really proud of those guys. And we put them to work in a way that we've never put that group to work before, expecting a certain amount of play, a certain amount of preparation, a certain amount of training, like you would any other thing. And spoiler alert, when you prepare and you're well prepared, you do better than you would if you didn't. And you surpass expectations that people have for you. I was and still are really proud of that group and Coach K for getting into that championship game, for being the runner-up in the Mountain West. Because I'm not kidding, last year they didn't win a single match. They were close, but they didn't win a single match in the Mountain West, and they were in the final this year. I like that stepping stone.
Yeah, that Hawaii match was probably my favorite Smash for sure.
Yeah.
And the Ohio State Valorant game, that one, I was on the edge of my seat. I think I was texting Nick through the whole thing. They're gonna do it. They're gonna do it.
We're really close. And we will. That's what's exciting about an arc like that, is that it's a really good thing to not automatically have success. It's a really good thing for us to struggle. Coach Danielson says it all the time. Everything that you want in life is on the other side of hard. And if it's not, then you might be aiming for the wrong things. I like hard for us. Hard is a much more comfortable place to be because we know what to do to improve it. And we can see what happens when we do those things.
Of course.
And I like the mindset that you have in that you want to be on the opposite side of that of the bracket is Ohio State, because you want that rematch, because you know that's going to be your hard, and what you want to achieve is on the other side of that.
And the pendulum swings so much further in a championship game. If you struggle early and you're not prepared for that struggle, you can be out of it. And we want to put opponents in that difficulty, that spot of bother. We want them to have that, oh no, we could lose this thought process. We're really powerful when we can deliver that realization. And that's when people make big mistakes. They try to do too much. And when we do our job, we do really well in those.
So college football 26, will it be 27 whenever it comes out next year?
Yep, and we'll do the same thing. We'll do an on-campus tournament to find the top players and scholarship the top players to have that opportunity. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. So, is there any questions that had come through that, or like came to your minds that didn't exactly get asked during any part of this?
Not really. I just like talking about our crew.
Yeah.
Just super proud of them, and that's one thing that's really special about this as an occupation, right? I get to select and recruit the people that I want to spend time with, right? And that that I want to build relationships with. It doesn't mean that they're perfect or fully formed. They continue to change over time. But it's a really beautiful thing to be a coach. And I love that we get to chase these things and have these experiences together. I mean, a championship ring is amazing, but there are only like 8 people that ever get that ring. The players who were there, the coaches who led them, the staff members who were critical to their success, and the donors or supporters that were, um, you know, critical to the success and support of those students. Um, there are 8 people that'll have this Rocket League championship ring from this year, and we'll be bound together for our entire lives because of this experience. Right? We'll go on to do, other great things. I mean, these are young people; they'll get to do amazing things we haven't even considered yet. But we'll always have this special moment. Um, that's why I'm super proud of our football players, and winning that Mountain West title. Right? There'll be 100 people, 110 people that have that ring that understand what it meant to be in that moment. They'll go on to do great things in other places, and but yeah, it's pretty cool. You wouldn't have asked that question, but I always think it's worth pointing out. It's not lost on me how special these moments are. I mean, I don't think of the total number, right? Because how many championships do I hope that we will get? I hope just one more. And if we hit that 16 Mountain West, okay, just one more, right? Just because it's such a special thing for that group of people.
Yeah.
Next one.
So
just one more.
One that I actually forgot about earlier was I wanted to ask you if there is any pro players that you would like to add, or that if you had the chance to, you could add to any of your teams, your competitive teams.
I won't name them by name. They're already on the recruiting board, and we know we're talking to them. There are a handful of unbelievable game changers players, right? That are out there, that are getting opportunities to play professional Valorant, and Overwatch has another name for it. These are largely female players or marginalized players that have an opportunity to compete on a really high stage and are really high level players, but might not be in that washing machine of pro players or pro tier players that everybody sees, right? And I think that there's an opportunity to potentially bring 1 or 2 of those players into our community here, to which they would, bring them up. Kelsey is a great example of somebody who is just a grinder in the game, but doesn't maybe fit the stereotypical, LCS coach or college coach. I love those opportunities to support and champion people who we should all know are amazing, but maybe haven't gotten the shine. I love that. That's and additional. There are some pro tier Korean Overwatch players and Japanese Overwatch players that might be a good fit here, who are now finishing what their equivalent of high school and are looking to transfer to the States. We might be able to engage in conversations there. We're about to graduate a very large group of Overwatch players, so we're going to have to get serious about the recruiting there, and are serious about the recruiting there. So yeah, I want to make sure that we stay stay strong in that game since we've had it as one of our strongest titles from the beginning. So does that help at all? And I think
It
that
does,
there's
it
some
does.
RLCS players, some Rocket League players that are young, that are getting a lot of attention, that might be well suited. But we want people to come here so that they will get their degree, and in the process of getting that degree, they're going to compete for championships, right? Because that's why you come to Boise State.
Mhm.
But it has to be in that order. They have to want to come here because they want to pursue a degree. They have to want to chase championships as a Bronco. They can also have their pro opportunities and aspirations, and we try to make those possible for every Bronco that's here. I mean, Jonathan Voraker traveled, probably 6 times in the last 2 years to these pro events, and each of those times we had to set aside his collegiate competitive play while he was gone, right?
Mhm.
Make sure his classes were set up the right way so we could continue to put stuff in and stay eligible, and we had to backfill with our team. So we want him to have that opportunity, and I think we've learned how to do that pretty well. And there are a couple other schools that have. Maryville's done a really good job with that. And Dan Clark, their director, and I've talked at length about how you create a college structure for somebody who is both a college and a pro player, right? How do you bounce back and forth between those?
Of course.
And we don't see that as much in pro baseball and pro football, but we used to. Y'all remember Bo, and I think Deion Sanders played both pro baseball and pro football at the same time. It's like, how can you support both of those aspirations? We won't pretend that Michael Jordan played pro baseball. I mean, he did.
I think he batted 196.
Yep, something like that. Something like that. Yeah, but there've been some folks who've done that, but yeah, we want to give them those opportunities. If they have the talent and the drive to do those things, we can frame it so that they don't miss those opportunities. It used to be that a college player would get a pro opportunity and they would leave college to go do that, which is such a huge mistake, because those pro experiences at their shortest length are maybe 6 to 8 weeks, right?
Mhm.
Like, you dropped out of college for a 6-week run to a national championship, and then you didn't get picked up by a team right away because you weren't the it thing during that chunk of time. Yeah. And then they're further away from their graduation. We like to make sure that they continue to progress toward their graduation, even if they're having pro opportunities.
So with this season ending, when do you think the spring season will start?
January 21st is our first PEC match, and the Mountain West will start just shortly after that. Historically, it begins usually the first week of February. We'll start those seasons. We'll start traveling almost immediately. I think we go to the Hawaii Invitational with Rocket League and Smash on the 11th of February.
Mhm.
And we'll be full swing. We'll start practicing. We'll get teams together that very first week of January. I think the 6th and 7th we'll do team meetings and start with the preparation for that, and start scrimmaging and playing right away. Make sure we're ready. Oh no, I broke you.
Doc, you said the 6-7, and that kind of just.
I did. I did. Normally, you could accuse me of trolling, but I didn't this time.
Oh, I looked down at my daddies.
I should have.
So for people who like schedules, where can people go to follow up, or like?
You can go to the PEC website. I mean, you can search PEC Esports, and it'll pop up. You can also go to boisestate.edu/esports. I know we've got a Bronco. I mean, honestly, y'all are GPT proficient enough that I'd say jump in and just ask GPT, what's Boise State's esports schedule? When can I watch? Where can I watch? It'll give you all those things. You can tell it to remind you the day of. Gone are the days where you need the exact location. I've started using it for scouting opponents for our broadcasters. They're like, well, what can you tell us about Colorado State? I'm like, here, let me give you this prompt, and you can learn everything you will ever want to learn about Colorado State's League of Legends history, experience. Yeah.
And here I am going looking at each website, going write down that piece of information, and you're over there with a prompt doing it in 30 seconds.
Yep.
I can confirm ChatGPT just told me whenever y'all started spring season.
I love it. Yeah, as soon as those things are dialed into the into our schedule, you'll be able to get regular updates. Our socials as well, Twitter and X and Insta and all of those. Not on Idaho's not allowed to be on TikTok, but when we are, we're going to blow up TikTok.
Why are you guys not allowed?
The state legislature like 2.5 years ago voted to ban it because it was the Chinese company and the data wasn't fully protected, and there were a whole bunch of concerns about it. They all voted it down, so we're just waiting. We're just in a holding pattern.
Yeah, you'll crush that as soon as you get on there.
I think so.
You'll crush it for sure. We'll try to get your schedule on our website too.
Absolutely love it. And I mentioned this last time we chatted, but we've got to coordinate when we can get you here, we can get you in this studio, and we can just let you run it. We've been able to do that from some of the local podcasts, and to get you guys in our like media night, giving games competitions and things like that. Would love for you guys to be able to come down and do that here whenever we can make it happen.
That would be amazing.
Would love it. Absolutely love it. It's one of our favorite things to do.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this has been a very informative show. We got to review the PEC season and relive the Mountain West Conference champions. Great fall season, if I might say. I mean, a lot of progress being made from last year, so only up from here. And everyone talks about football and basketball and women's volleyball and the soccer team. They're all championship games, but no one's talking about the quiet powerhouse sitting in the Esports studio that brings home all these titles.
I feel gratefully. I feel like it has been so much more of a conversation in the last little bit. I mean, our athletic director, right, Jeremiah Dickey, has said multiple times, he describes this program and these students as elite, and I'm so proud of that. And Cody Gogler, who continues as the deputy AD, continues to just preach about this group and their success and what it means to the university. I don't feel like it's under the radar anymore. The fact that y'all wanted to talk about it, and Bri, you're like going to be the expert of experts in collegiate esports. I mean, you never want to believe that you've arrived, because where's the horizon, where's the goals? But I think some would accuse us of having hit that point, arrival, where it's not under the radar anymore.
Mm-hmm.
We could never allow that to be true. We got to chase it always. But
well, Doc, do you have any final words for us before we let you go on for your evening?
I just appreciate you. I appreciate everything that our colleagues here at Boise State do for these students, and obviously for our family here. They're just amazing. This is the greatest gift. I did not predict, almost 10 years ago, that this would be where I spent my time and energy, but my goodness, it's the best.
Nick, you have any final thoughts for Doc?
No, I'm just really eternally grateful that you came back on, and love it when you come up on here and share about your athletes and the program and everything. As a diehard Boise State fan. I love all the sports, and so I'm always rooting for you, and just thankful that you came back on, and I hope you and your team and your family have a great Christmas.
I appreciate you guys so much, and thank you so much for just telling the story of these kids. And let's do it whenever you want to do it.
Yep. Bri, final thoughts?
I've answered or I've asked all my thoughts.
All right.
He has 0 thoughts. Thought meter 0. Right, you're awesome.
Yeah. Well, Doc, thanks again. Just real quick, some quick house cleaning. Nick, Bronco Christmas on the Blue this week. Tell the fans how they can donate and where they can donate at.
Yeah, just real quick. Again, we've adopted 17 children from the Boise Rescue Mission City Light Program. We're raising $1,800 to make a fabulous Christmas for them again this year on the Blue with some awesome, caring, loving Boise State student athletes. So you can help. Just go to BroncoNationUpdates.com. The link is right there on the top.
All right. And don't forget, tomorrow night, College Football Roundtable right here. We're going to be previewing the first round, and we have some little kinks and twists that are going to come on. So you might want to bookmark that one. It's going to be a fun show there. And then Wednesday, we have Boise State great Ryan Watkins coming on to preview the Mountain West Conference slate ahead of the opening game on Saturday against Nevada. So with all that being said, Nick, why don't you head us out of here?
I'm going to give it up to Brian. Why don't you get us out of here?
Well, I'm going to give it up to Dot. No, just kidding. So, thank you everybody for watching the Bronco Nation Live updates. This was the Esports showcase for the what season? What season were
Fall.
we in?
We just finished fall.
Fall
For the
season.
fall season.
Yeah.
So, thank you for watching. Of course, follow the socials. They're down right below everybody right here. Twitter, X, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Threads.
I think that's TikTok.
I said TikTok.
It's Threads. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
the
do
at the end is Threads.
Gotcha.
just do the thing, guys.
Do the things.
Just do the things.
DoTheThings.com.
DoTheThings.com.
All right. Thank you all for watching.
Thanks,
Go
Brian.
Broncos.
Go Broncos. Hey, if you're looking for more followers, clients, or customers, check out ServingBroncoNation.com and get your business added to the directory. When you purchase a tax-deductible plan, you are investing in Boise State and getting access to millions of views throughout the year on the directory and the Bronco Nation network.